and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Akinfenwa. Good morning.
Hey, I like the build-up, mate.
There's a good build-up for you,
To be
isn't
fair,
it?
it's afternoon now. I'm just going to let you know that now. You know what I'm saying? It is afternoon.
You've just literally ruined me within... Yeah.
No, I'm just letting because it's partnerships here.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, come on, brother. That's fine. You know, we both do the heavy lifting. You know,
You do the heavy lifting. I point. You do the lifting. How are you?
You know what?
It's a pleasure to meet you, by the way.
I am not. The pleasure's all mine, mate. Pleasure's all mine. Listen, I'm blessed, and I stand by. We count blessings, not problems. So, listen, I'm blessed, my brother.
Good. I was doing some research on you because I thought I've got to know a little bit about you. Obviously, I knew your footballing
Same,
career.
yeah.
I knew that, but the wrestling. I was interested in the wrestling.
Yeah. So,
are you going to do it? Is it the real wrestling or is it showbiz wrestling?
No, it was wrestling's real. Hey, come on.
Sorry.
Hey.
See, 2 minutes in. Help make friends and influence
you
people.
know what it is? I said when I was retired, 3 years retired, I said, look, I'm going to try as many different things as possible. And at that time, I was talking into wrestling. And then I did my first my first wrestling with Anthony Ogogo. We was doubles. We won, of course. But yeah, to be fair, I put that on the back burner at the moment because I've been hella busy.
Good luck.
But yeah, man, I enjoy it, man. It's a beautiful sport. Real sport. Yeah.
You're listening to The Warm Show with myself, Mike McClean. It's nice to be back in the seat. And obviously yourself. We've got loads to get through. We've got 2 hours of really good stuff to get through. Let's talk about the boxing. Did you see the boxing last night? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I paid for it. Picked up my missus from the train station. She was full of spirit. It's mainly gin and vodka.
Say that.
And then I went home, right? I fell asleep.
What?
I paid for it and I fell asleep. Did you watch it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, you know what? Straight after the fight, I was compelled to post a picture with Usyk because he's the truth.
Yeah.
Like he's the truth. And part of me, I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, could Dubois do it? You know, first 4-5 rounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he rushes him, uses his strength. Nah, man. Like, Usyk, but he's the truth. And even when he at the end, he was like, all the current real heavyweights, you know, the Furies, the Joshuas, and now Dubois, he's beat them, all three of them twice. Like, nah, man, he's the truth, man.
What is next for him, though? Because it's either going to be Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Derek Chisora, or Joseph Parker.
You know what? I think Parker is next because I think Parker's
got to fight
man, he's earned him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think the others. I think Fury, he's fought twice, and I don't know. Look, Parker's the one where you're like, he hasn't fought him, and then and of course Parker's earned it. And is again right now he's 38, but he just looks unstoppable. He looks unstoppable.
Do you think you could beat him in a fight?
Come on now, listen, don't listen. Look, if
yes or no?
100% no.
I do. I love watching it. I was absolutely annoyed because my lad texted me this morning and went, "What a fight!" And I was like, "Oh,
you know when you miss it."
Yeah,
you know. No, he listened from start to finish. He was just. He looked so relaxed. He looked like he was enjoying it, and then he taught the bar a lesson, man. And then the KO. Oh,
what do you think will be next for Dubois? Do you think he'll?
Yeah, listen, I think Dubois. I think what he's done in the short space of time. He's only 27. Like, you know, he's got plenty of time, and I think you learn so much more from your setbacks than you actually do from your wins. And the experiences that he's learned now, you know, from the ups of beating AJ and then the downs of losing to Usyk. Listen, Dubois going to be around, man.
On a serious note, is it boxing? Was that something you'd probably have considered after football?
No
way.
No. You know, not as in. No, to be fair, not saying that. Actually, I do boxing training, and I love that in regards to. I like.
It's a very, very good training.
Do you know what? Look, I salute them, and I went in there, do my due diligence, and you know, sometimes you think you're fit because you play a certain sport, and then you go in and. But for 3 minutes, oh Lord, just holding your arms up in defence is hard work. So I salute them completely.
My dad made me do it when I was a kid, and I had 4 fight, and I came second in every fight.
I love that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can't come first, come second.
Second.
Especially if there was only 2 people in the fight.
I used to have advertisements bit on the soles of my feet, so when I went down, they could actually see who I was sponsored by. Do you know what I mean? I'd gone through so much smelling salts, it was just unbelievable.
Mike, you're a joker.
Yeah, listen, also the British Lions won their first test match against Australia, 27-19, Brisbane. You a big rugby fan?
Yeah, man. As in, I respect them athletes. When I was at Northampton, we used to train with the Northampton Saints in the same place.
The little club, yeah.
So, and in the gym. Do you know what I'm saying? And so they're some big guys. And I've always said I wouldn't have gone into rugby because I enjoyed being the biggest guy on the pitch. Like, there was a 20-year-old rugby player and he was looking down at me. I thought, oh no, I'm going to stick to football. I
read an interesting fact about rugby that when you get hit by one of the other players, it's like getting hit by a car at 30 miles an hour.
I don't know why you'd want to do that constantly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but
it's like again, standing in front of a car and just going, crash into me.
Yeah.
And also a little, I do like. I think I'd love the fact that. They always say that it's football is a thug's game played, but no, it's the other way around, isn't it? You know, and I just love the respect that the rugby players show each other. But it nearly kicked off in a little bit in the scrum, didn't it? A little brawl with Ellis and Alan. I can't pronounce his second name, but there was a little moment there.
I don't understand how there's not more moments. I really don't. And I know there's a competitive element and respect, and it should be because you know you're all competitors. But when they just be hitting your chest and anyway. But listen, as long as it don't spill over, it's things we like to see.
Do you like? This is something I want to ask you as a former footballer. They've been miking up the referees, and I know they do it in rugby, and I like that. Do you think it should be happening in football?
Look, I think I'm off the era of the old school, and I know all of a sudden everybody wants to kind of make everything the same. I think the beauty of sports is that they're different. I do think there's little tweaks that you can have, like goal line technology. I'm all for it.
Are you actually for that?
Goal line technology, I'm all for.
VAR?
VAR, I'm not a fan of.
Why are you not a fan of that?
I just think that it gets re-refereed the game. I think sometimes we can accept when a referee makes a mistake on the pitch. I think it then gets even more slap in the face when you've got 3 different referees refereeing the game and they still get it wrong.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? Because it's opinions. At the end of the day, you still got a referee watching the game, giving his opinion on another referee who's on the field. That's my take on it. But I would say I never got to the Premier League, so VAR would have never been my problem. So I'm just on the outside looking in. But I do think, listen, I think sometimes there's pros and cons to everything. I'm not overly a massive fan of miking up the referee.
Do you think a lot of footballers are?
No, I don't think they're a fan of VAR. I don't. But then again, I think we are.
Unless you're getting beat.
When it goes,
when
it goes your way, it's the best thing in the world.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
I'm a Liverpool supporter, and when it goes for us, I know, good times. I'm not saying good times. Good times as in the past. But anyway, I know what you're saying in regards to that. But yeah, man. So when it goes Liverpool's way, I love it. When it don't,
it's interesting.
I hate it.
It's interesting when I speak to footballers who are fans of other teams.
Okay.
Right. I always find that fascinating because you're putting on the jersey of if you ever get to play the team that you support. So if you ever played Liverpool,
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did that feel for you?
I always say this, right? If you can't play for the team you support, the next best thing is actually to play against them. You know, and look, again, my career was different. I'm a product of the EFL, and generally, the teams you support, you'll always have either your local team and then, of course, the Premier, your Premier League team sort of thing. So my thing was, like I said, I was a product of EFL, so watching the Premier League every week I was always up. And then even when I remember wearing my Liverpool top, I actually wore my Liverpool top into
Anfield?
into the changing room at Wickham, and I got a week's fine. But anyway, that's another story.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, when Liverpool won the league, I came in the
Was it worth it?
100%. It was COVID and everything when I did that. But you know, the thing is, when I say that, I think sometimes people forget that even though you're a footballer, you're a human and you're going to have a team that you support, you know. And I'll always say it's the only ever time I've wanted Liverpool to lose was when Wimbledon played Liverpool.
Because it's a job.
Because that was I wanted to win for the team I was playing for. But other than that, as soon as the whistle blew, I was a fan again.
See, these are little things I love and people don't realise about footballers. Like, my lad's at West Ham and he's at the academy there, but he's still a big City fan.
Yeah.
So it hurts me when I see him. Well, it doesn't hurt me, but I see
know what
him.
you mean.
He walks around the house and he's West Ham. So I've had to put certain bands into place that he can't wear them between these hours, you know, and he has to... Do you think that's too much?
No, because my youngest son's a Man United supporter, and I'm going to get a DNA test to see if he's actually mine. That's what it is. Oh, no, the missus... Because the missus is a Man United supporter, but I didn't know until I fell in love. You know them ones.
Yeah.
And then her brother's a Man United supporter, and then while I was playing football, they got my youngest son, and they just turned... I thought I could bribe him back to make him see sense, but nah, he's a stubborn one, that one.
Do you ever got a bad thing you've let him down by not bribing him?
Nah, man, it's him going through trials and tribulations.
Okay,
he's never seen Man United be good. He's 10. So at the moment, I'm still laughing at him.
And long may that continue. Listen, we're going to be chatting about the Ladies Euros. We're going to chat about the golf. We'll be chatting about Malden and Tiptree. We'll be chatting to Michael Greco as well about Chelsea winning the Club World Cup. We'll chat to you about that. That's all coming up very soon. listening to the warm-up show with myself, Mike McClean, and Akinfenwa. Let's get the golf update now in partnership with Arnold Clark. Sean O'Brien joins us from Royal Portrush. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Mike. Yes, let me just remind you where we stand heading into this final round. World number one, Scotty Scheffler, has a 4-shot lead over China's Haotong Li. They don't tee off until 2:30 p.m. England's Matt Fitzpatrick is 5 shots back. And then Rory McIlroy, the hometown hero, he's within 6. They both tee off at 2:20 this afternoon. Now, players have won majors from 6 shots back, but not with Scheffler at the top of the leaderboard. That is the problem, and it would be a massive shock if he didn't get the job done today. Alongside Rory on 8 under, you've got Tyrrell Hatton, Chris Gotterup and Harris English. They all get underway around 2 p.m. There are some birdies out there already. Shane Lowry's 5 under through 14, and the weather is beautiful as well. Blue skies with a gentle wind, and we are expecting it to stay like this all day. So it's Scheffler's to lose, and you can hear the early stages of round 4 over on talkSPORT 2.
Oh, brilliant. Now, listen, Sean, obviously, the sad news that Bob Buck had passed away. What did he mean to talkSPORT?
He meant so much. I wrote a tribute piece over on talkSPORT.com trying to do justice to the phenomenon that was Bob Bubka. And something I thought he just captured better than anyone else was the fact that talkSPORT's about characters and people who can kind of create a connection with the listeners and kind of just fill their hearts with comfort just by kind of being on air and all their kind of little quirks and phrases. And everyone, of course, remembers that iconic voice. I mean, speaking to people here at Royal Portrush, everyone's remembering how it just used to boom around this media tent. One of the greatest kind of voices in all of sports broadcasting. But I remember his dedication and his passion for golf. We covered the Open at St Andrews in 2022, and he put everything aside. He had some real kind of health issues at the time. He was 80 years old, but he put all of that aside to travel halfway across the world just to be at the home of golf because it meant that much to him. It was never about the money for Bob. He just loved golf and broadcasting, and that always shone through in everything he did. And we were very lucky to have him, and he'll be sorely missed.
And Sean, if anybody wants to read that piece that you wrote, where can they get it?
That's on the talkSPORT website at the top of our homepage. So, go and give that a read. He was a very special person who meant a lot to all of us.
Brilliant. Listen, Sean, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the golf, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Right, we'll also be talking about the Women's Euros. Have you been watching the Ladies' Euros?
Yeah, especially recently, like with the penalties and
that
England
was
gave it.
Penalty shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Like both of them. Like the England's won and then Germany's won yesterday. So at this time it starts heating up, and you're like, all right, yeah, let's go, sort of thing. It starts the business end of the tournament. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Quarterfinals, semi-finals. Sorry. So yeah, man.
The penalties. I just at some point I thought, what time am I going to get to bed?
Yeah, I was looking at it and thinking, nah, man, what's going on? Like what's going on?
Stop saving, let one in.
Come on. But that's what makes it fun, though. It's a lottery.
France won, Germany won. Obviously, Germany won 6-5 on penalties. There wasn't as many as well. And then you've got England versus Italy, which is live on talkSPORT. You've got Germany versus Spain. Who are you looking at thinking they're going to win this?
You know what? Look.
With your footballing head on.
They're all different. I'm hoping England win it, of course. I think Spain are technically gifted. But I'm hoping England. I know there could be a couple injuries there, but yeah, man, I am hoping England.
Okay, well, let's go over to Charlotte Richardson, who's there now. Charlotte, good morning. Good afternoon, should I say. I'm always doing morning.
Good afternoon to you both.
How are things looking, Charlotte?
Oh, well, things are very exciting. Hearing Bayo there describe it as the business end of the tournament, the drama has gone up a notch. And I think each of the quarterfinals in their own way showcase just what a brilliant tournament it has been so far. I feel a little bit snoozy this Sunday, I have to say. It was 2 late nights following the England drama in the penalty shootout, and the game last night as well was absolutely brilliant. Sensational goalkeeping, a far better penalty shootout in terms of the tries.
Totally agree.
From France
you got
and Germany.
to bed.
Yeah, eventually.
Charlotte, I don't know about you, but for me, and it's not because my family is Spanish and taking that side, but for me, Spain They play exceptional football. They stick to the 4-3-3. They don't keep changing the system, which is what I think, where's my manners? I think that England do too much. But La Rojo, as they're called, the Reds, they just stick and they seem to know what they're doing. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree. I think Spain have a real rhythm and flow to their patterns of play, which is at such an exceptional level. And even looking at the other nations they've had to play in their group games, the way that they've managed to imprint that style of play on others. What's been slightly trickier for England and their route in the tournament so far is the quality of the sides that they've played against, like France, for example, where it has been harder. And we saw in Sweden when our midfield was shut down and demobilised, and players like Lauren James and Kira Walsh, who are sort of linchpins of our style of play, were kind of blocked out of the game, how much we struggled. I think Spain have the ability, and they're as quick with their brains as they are with their feet, so they can just manoeuvre and manage any situation. They were my favourites going into the tournament, and to be honest with you both, I haven't really seen anything to make me think otherwise so far.
So that's what I was going to ask you, so, and you just led on that. So is that your heart thinking that Spain are the favourites, or from what you've seen right now, who would you tip your hat on and say, I think they're going to win it?
Oh, look, my heart is always going to say England. It's very much my head that's saying Spain. However, I think for England, they've just demonstrated some real resilience, luck, and the power of the substitutions. And that gives echoes of our success and our blueprint to win in the 2022 tournament. Germany as well, covering that game. When they went down to 10... Last night I was working on the match for talkSPORT. When they went down to 10 after 15 minutes against France, I thought, right, here we go then. But teams that go through that, go through those moments of pain together, that struggle together, that builds a sense of confidence that Spain just haven't had to be pushed to that point yet. So I'm intrigued to see if Germany can go again, how the mental fatigue as much as the physical impact of last night's quarter-final will have on them. Whether we will see a repeat of the 2022 final. If the Germans could do us a favour and knock out Spain, I think I would rather have Germany in the final. So that's definitely my heart talking there.
And a big shout out to the German goalkeeper, Berger, because she's done well, and she fought cancer. And that, that is a massive, and to be out there, they're absolutely brilliant.
And you know what I liked as well, Mike? At the end of the penalty shootout, obviously all her teammates rushed over and celebrated with her. But she looks into the camera and she says to the cameraman, get the whole team in, get the whole team in. Very unselfishly for a goalkeeper there. But she's fantastic. She played many years in the WSL for Chelsea, a really integral player. And that's what you need when your back is against the wall. And Germany have had some real absentees in terms of they lost their captain in the first group game. In the right back role, they were really weak defensively with options. And then, of course, that ridiculous red card, one of the most stupid things I think I've seen a footballer do on a pitch, really. But she was there, and one of the saves, I don't know if you've seen it, very, very late on in the game, she basically claws the ball from beyond the net. And I think you guys will agree, men's game, women's game, whatever point in the pyramid.
Saves a save.
It's
first class. It was exceptional.
We're getting back to Spain, because I was reading about Spain. They literally 75% possession, 85% passing accuracy. That's some stats, isn't it?
Yeah, they really are a well-drilled side with such special talent. But they
ain't great on penalties, though, Charlotte. No,
I don't think anybody is.
Two penalty misses in a game.
I mean, this Euros is cursed when it comes to penalties. I can't quite believe it. We had another one before it even went to penalties. Shoka Nuskin missed the goalkeeper saved. But Mariona Caldente, I would put my house on the line for Mariona Caldente scoring a penalty, and even she had her penalty saved. But that's the thing about this tournament. It's unpredictable, and it's a cliche, but you have to manage each match as it comes. And like I say, I just don't think Spain have been pushed to their limit yet. And Germany will dust themselves down, and they will know that they are 90 so minutes away from making it to yet another final. They're the 8-time European champions for a reason. And for Spain, they need to showcase those world-class, why they're world champions as well. It's going to be such a brilliant semi-final. But of course, really can't wait for Italy versus England. England have a big job to do there.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you, Charlotte, in regards to...
You were going to ask a lot of questions.
Because that's what it is, you know. I'm a question asker.
Charlotte's waiting there. You're just waiting. You're just lining up the questions.
I was like, yo, Charlotte, come on, because I want to know. What threats does Italy have? What threats will Italy have that England have to be aware of?
I think Italy, again, Bit like Sweden, really, really good on hitting on the counter-attack. They have got pace. They'll be really looking to target our fullbacks and keeping them. I mean, if Lucy Bronze and Alex Green would play, I mean, I think Serena's got a few question marks over the fitness of Leah Williamson, whether or not she plays Jess Carter. A tough match for her against Sweden. But they'll really look to pin our fullbacks back and then make the midfield battle as physical and gritty as possible. I think that will be the game plan for Italy. It worked to good effect against Norway, and they have their own momentum, and momentum is so important when it comes to tournament football. They bagged 2 late goals against Norway to make it to this point in the competition. They're riding their own wave, but I think you'll see in the opening 5 to 10 minutes, they'll look to press England, they'll look to pin back those key players, and then when it comes to the likes of Alessia Russo, they'll just look to push her as far up the pitch as possible, make her work as hard and as much as possible away from the area where she is most dangerous, and that is in and around the 6-yard area and in the box. It's going to be, again, a really tough battle, and I think Serena Wiegmann is the best coach in this tournament. I was worried when we had that quarter-final. The changes she made came really late. I felt like we got away with one a little bit there, but the Michelle Adjiman cameo, how Chloe Kelly changed the game. Serena's got some big changes perhaps to make for someone as a coach who likes to be quite rigid and formulaic with her starting 11. So I think it's going to be a very intriguing team sheet when it lands.
Well, Charlotte, listen, thank you very much indeed. You're doing a great job, and I love the decor behind you. I love that colour grey with the white on the wall. I do like that. I've got that same thing at home, and I don't know what colour to use. And I'm just looking at the corner there, and I'm thinking, that's the corner I want.
Well, you know what? I'll try and find out, and I'll send you.
Would you send it me? Charlotte Richardson, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of yours, Charlotte. Have a lovely time.
Blessings, Charlotte.
Yeah, she's right. When it comes towards the end of the tournament, it's a bit like the Club World Cup, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But it's the end, and I do think the Germany and Spain is going to be a great game.
Yeah, man. Both semi-finals, and it's like anything, it's when you start getting to the finishing line, you're like, oh, okay, it's serious, and it's all of a sudden the drama and the energy gets heightened. So both Italy, England, just historically they're just battles, and Germany and Spain, like you said, Spain, the way they play just fluent, and Germany have got the physical element. So yeah, man, both games should be special. Good.
Listen, we're going to have a battle in a minute because I know you've got some little bits of food under the desk, so we'll be battling there. And plus we'll be talking about my team, Man City, and your team, Liverpool, after the break.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good morning, why am I saying good morning? I've done the morning show before and it's not morning. It's good afternoon. You're listening to the warm-up show with myself, Mike McClean, and Adebayo, Akinfenwa, one of the nicest guys I've met today. Now, I'm going to love this. I've got to read this out. This is great. This is just gold. Our competition continues to win 6, VIP seats in a box at Wembley. This is going to be a wind-up for a Coldplay, to see Coldplay on August the 22nd, plus 10k! Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky winner. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality, plus we're chucking in 10 grand spending money completely tax-free. Here's how to enter. You've got to be 18 plus, UK, in the UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or post your name and address to Coldplay competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions on talksport.com. And if you are going to the Coldplay album, it's probably wise to go with just your wife that you're married to, and I'm just saying this, do remember, if you're going to go to the Coldplay album, there are cameras, and if they do pan on you, just make sure you're with the... I'm just saying, just make sure you're with the right person. Yeah. And if you're not, don't run away, because anything can happen.
But look, me,
that's all I'm saying.
Just stay hugged up.
Yeah.
It's easier to get out of staying hugged up than actually running oh, the world see me. Yeah. Oh, no, but how bad is to get caught like that?
I didn't know him, but I do now.
Yeah.
I think the world knows him.
Knows them. Both of them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's the picture. It's iconic now. Oh. And it's also affiliated to Coldplay. And Coldplay's one of the biggest groups in the... Oh, Lord.
In fact, if you're going to any concert, just remember there are cameras there. Just remember there are cameras everywhere. Just like now, if I hugged Daddy, we're just... You know what I mean? Just, listen, let's talk Liverpool, because obviously you're a massive fan.
Yes.
I thought last year, because I'm a big Man City fan, obviously, I thought they deserved the league, if I'm honest.
There's no fault. Yeah, we did.
They did.
Thank you.
You played great football.
Yes.
And what I liked about... he didn't change much. He just he tightened up that midfield, and he didn't change as much. I thought he was going to come in and maybe disrupt things, because you know as well as I do, a manager comes in, he sits out his own rules, but he didn't. He was very clever. Just changed a few little things, and they won the league.
Yeah.
And this year they've added some good players.
Yeah. First, let me just, before we go, let me just ask, how do you feel like just not winning anything last season?
Well, to be honest with you, I grew up being a City fan, winning nothing.
Okay.
So winning something was lovely, but I think, if I'm being really honest, I think a lot of City fans are expecting it now, and we shouldn't expect it. Because
expecting to win
everything in a year. And I think you shouldn't, because that's why I love football so much, is because it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think with City fans thinking, we're going to go in the season. No, I do think, if I'm being really honest, I think we lost the FA Cup final because you've got Grealish on the bench and he didn't play him. I know for a fact Pep can be very stubborn. I've read both these books, and he's a very stickler for what he wants, and if players don't do what he wants, out they go. No player is bigger than the club. But I do think he lost us that FA Cup by not playing Grealish.
I'm always for the players. Normally, I am always for the players. I just think in regards to that, and I get it, as City fans, I just think sometimes, of course, we see surface view. So, we see what gets promoted and that.
Yeah.
Whereas, the days to days, the putting it in, if you haven't seen somebody train to that degree, and I know sometimes what's the saying, you cut your nose to spite your face or something like that, and maybe he did in regards to that. But I just think when somebody of Pep's fortitude makes a decision, it's more than just the there and now. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just my take, innit? Don't get it twisted. If it was Liverpool, I'd have said, play the player, man. Like, I want to win. Then all of a sudden, chastise him afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear that.
Are you excited about Florian? Is it Wirtz? Are you excited about him? Because I researched him and I looked at him and I thought, wow, he looks the real deal.
Do you know what?
And for City to go after him and then you lot to get after him, you get him. That's
listen. I think all the signings we've signed are ballers. I think you've touched on it. I think it shows what Slot is in regards to as comfortable as a person, whereas you go into an environment, a change room, a culture, and you see that there's not much you need to change. So you don't need to make it about yourself, but you see the tweaks, and that's what it was to get us the league. And now, listen, of course, Trent was going, and Kwanzaa's
is that
gone.
a massive loss for Liverpool?
Massive. I don't. And listen, I think every Liverpool fan knows. Look, Trent's a baller, and I think Frimpong's a good signing. I think Bradley's going to turn into a world beater in regards. But Trent,
you got Ekitike, he's 69 million.
If we get him, I know they've said it's until it gets as soon as we unveil him, that Frimpong, Kirkes we've got in, and we, to be fair, we needed a ball player, so that's why Florian Wirtz is that player. That we lost Trent, because Trent was our creativity, and we'll see. We'll miss him. I know they talk about his defending, but his attacking was just special.
Because the Premier League's it's a different beast, isn't it? It's a different beast from Germany and Spain.
Yeah.
And it does take time for them players. I remember seeing David Silva play his first game for City against Spurs, and I thought, oh, what have we bought here?
Yeah.
But then suddenly, bang.
Yeah, man.
He's just a different...
Listen, man, look, you have to adapt. And I think sometimes people don't, and it's not even just the playing style. Like, it's everything that goes into it when you come in. And I'm talking about, the time of training, what you eat, the where you're living, the families, the friends. It's so much that goes into it. And then the quality of, it's more physical and maybe more faster. So there's a lot of elements. Sorry, some people come on and then they hit the ground running, and salute to them. But it does take time. So, but I do think what he's signed, I think he's building, and I'm excited. The season's going to be emotional. There's no two ways about getting it. As Liverpool supporters, it is going to be emotional. And listen,
of course it is. Of course it is.
And I think with World, it will be emotional. But hopefully we can use that emotion
to win the league again.
To bond us together, which it does with Liverpool supporters. It bonds us. So it will be emotional. But we are looking at it and thinking, what, Slot's building something here special.
He's a good manager. I can't say... listen, with my footballing hat on, because I love football, I appreciate it, and I think, he's done a fantastic job. Obviously, with my City hat on, it's very frustrating because we didn't win the FA Cup. We just about got into the Champions League. Champions League is going to be a big thing for Liverpool this year.
Yeah, listen, I think all of it. I think the Champions, I think they're going to want to continue the momentum of winning trophies. And of course, you don't take anything away from any trophy, and the big ones are the big ones, the Champions League and the Premier League. But the Champions League, I mean, they started off the Champions League, I think unbeaten until the last game when we was qualified, and then unfortunately went out to the team that won it, but it'll be big, and I think they'll do well again this season.
Who do you think Liverpool's main challenges are going to be?
To be fair, I think it's going to be the same. I think City, I think Arsenal, I hope not Arsenal, but I think it will be Arsenal. Arsenal's always there. City will be there. I don't think Man United will close the gap, but I think they'll close the gap from where they was last season. I think
17th.
Listen, hopefully, so I could just laugh at my son. But I think it will be the normals, the Man Cities, the Arsenals. I think there'll be a problem.
What is it with Arsenal and not quite getting there? What is Arteta just missing for them to be a serious, they're just not quite there, are they?
Do you know that? I don't know, and I hope he continues to not know, because I love the pain in the Arsenal. My best friends are Arsenal supporters. Like, my inner circle, there's more Arsenal supporters, so we go back and forth constantly. But I do think they are a couple players away from it, and that's what slightly.
Do you think it's just a couple?
I think they're just a couple players away. I do. I think
the pressure will be on Arteta this year to try and win something.
But from outside looking in, I think it has to be just outside looking in. But at the same time, as long as the hierarchies are happy with him, the hierarchies are, and you've still got more. What it seems like, you still got more fans. Arteta in than out. He is building, and I'd still love to laugh because I think it's 6-7 years, it's the Arteta project. So as long as may it continue to 10-11 years, personally, as long as they don't win anything.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be interesting. I definitely think you're going to win it again this year, because I think it's going to take Pep that this year just to get those players in the mould that he wants. I just don't think, and I think you're already there. I think what happens, and I think what people don't understand or not maybe realise in regards to expectation. I think pressure and expectation carries a weight, and now, because nobody was saying that last season that Liverpool was going to go and win it, so there was no expectation, there weren't that weight on them. I think now there's that weight, and it's just how they deal with it. I do think they are in a good place to go and deal with it, but with expectations now, everybody playing Liverpool are now trying to beat the champions, and that's what Man City had. Yeah, of course. It's going to be an interesting season.
Yes,
very interesting season.
Yes, it will.
Listen, some very sad news reached us at talkSPORT this morning. Our legendary voice of golf, Bob Bubka, died at the age of 83. talkSPORT Rupert Bell worked with Bob at all the golf majors for over 2 decades and pays tribute to that great man.
Radio is about voices, and there is no doubt when you heard Bob Bupka speak, it just grabbed you.
3 hole-in-ones in the last hour here at the par 3 16th. Just when you think you've seen it all.
His distinctive American tones enthralled and entertained talkSPORT listeners for over 25 years. His love of the game of golf shone through, coupled with a cheeky, almost rebellious element, made him not only a delight to listen to, but in my case, to work with, as he started out as a car salesman. But a few slots on American local radio led to expanding it to a full-time career. Bob was unashamedly biased when it came to Tiger Woods, in awe of his achievements, particularly as he had been brought up in the Nicholas Palmer era. Testament to Bob is that Tiger always seemed to search him out to say hello.
And now a moment that'll go down in history. Tiger Woods wins the 2019 Masters, and is he elated? This is an epic victory that will not be forgotten.
In later years, Bob's health made it difficult to travel, and his last Open in situ was at St Andrews in 2021. He loved being there, and the relish which he drove his motorised wheelchair around the city was fantastic. But what he also loved was the interaction with talkSPORT listeners. And I know in the end, being part of the talkSPORT family was so important to him as he struggled with ill health. But even when physically frail, that voice never faltered. Covering the majors will never be the same without that extraordinary voice drawing us in to the magnificent sport of golf. Bob, we'll miss you.
talkSPORT's Rupert Bell there paying tribute to this station's legendary voice of golf, Bob Bubka, who unfortunately passed away at the age of 83. We'll see you after the break. You're listening to the warm-up show on talkSPORT with myself, Mike McClean, and former AFC Wimbledon striker Adebayo Akinfenwa. That's a lovely name, that. I love that name.
Thank you.
I really do.
Thank you, my brother.
I really do. You're welcome. Let's look at the latest odds ahead of today's action with William Hill.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Ben Barrett's with us. Morning, Ben.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon, yep.
Good. How are things?
Yeah, very, very good here. Busy day, obviously, with the golf headlining the action here at William Hill HQ, but there's plenty on the go besides that.
Listen, what are the odds on the golf? Tell me more about it.
Well, it does feel like at the moment it is one-way traffic. Scotty Scheffler is very much clear of the pack at the moment with plenty in behind playing chase out. But it is Scotty Scheffler or bust, really. The betting says that he's 2-9 favourite to lift the famous claret jug. Of the rest of the pack, McIlroy's 14-1. Matt Fitzpatrick, the Englishman, is at 20s. Hao Tong Lee is 20-1. Tyrrell Hatton at 33s. The main support is coming in the other markets, though. Betting without Scotty Scheffler has been popular. Matt Fitzpatrick in that at 4-1 has proved to be a significant bet for plenty today. Scotty Scheffler to win by 4 or more shots is even money. 7-2 to win by 6 or more shots. Like I say, it looks like Scheffler or bust for the claret jug.
And what about the women's Euros?
Well, that's not quite one-way traffic, but it feels like it could be two-way traffic. Spain are favourites at 1-2 to lift that particular trophy. Then come England at 5-2. Germany, who, of course, came through that incredible match last night, 7-1, played over 100 minutes with 10 players and still snuck through on penalties. And then Italy, who, of course, England will play on Tuesday night, are 20-1. England are 1-2 favourites to get the better of Italy inside the 90 minutes. Needed penalties, of course, to get past Sweden. 14-1 that England win on spot kicks once more.
Ben, we talked about the rugby earlier, so what's the odds on the Lions?
Yeah, we've got a busy week of Lions action, of course. In between the tests, they have also got that game that's coming up in midweek. They are very, very short to get the better of the First Nations and Pacific Islands, 1-100 in that particular market. In terms of the second test against Australia next weekend, still favourites 1-5 that they get the win there against Australia. Aussies are 7-2. If you fancy the British and Irish Lions to win and win fairly comfortably, 10-11 they win by 13 or more points.
Thank you very much indeed, Ben. Sterling job as always. That was the latest odds with William Hill. 18 plus, gamblingaware.org.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
But now let's get an open update with Sean O'Brien. Sean, how are things?
Yeah, all good. Anticipation building here on the first tee. Less than 2 hours to go until the main event when Scotty Scheffler goes out with a 4-shot lead over Hao Tong Lee. Rory McIlroy goes out in the second last group at 2. He's 6 shots back. And if yesterday is anything to go by, he could take the roof off this place with a fast start. I've covered my fair share of Opens now, and some of the roars during that third round 66 yesterday were the loudest I've ever heard. I think he said something similar in his press conference as well. So the crowd here haven't quite given up on something special happening this afternoon. There's a real buzz around the place. Shane Lowry, the winner here in 2019, just got a stunning ovation on the 18th green. He shot the lowest round of the day so far, actually. He just holed an incredible putt, which I think sees him card 6 under par. Oh, is he chipped in? Yeah, that's an unbelievable way to finish his Open Championship. But we're counting down to the main event, and you can listen live over on talkSPORT too.
The Open Update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
So we've covered darts, we've covered football. Well, we haven't covered darts, and that's why we're going to cover darts with our very own talkSPORT darts commentator, Ian Dancer. Ian, how are you?
Good, thanks, Mike. Bayo, how are you guys?
I'm very well, Ian,
good.
very well.
We're good. Let's talk darts. Luke Humphries knocked out in a shock circumstance yesterday. Tell us more about that.
Well, Jan van Veen, who was the young Dutchman that knocked him out, was one of the tougher draws that the seeded players could have got at this World Match Play on night one. He's been playing very well. He actually beat Humphries to win his first Players' Championship title just a month or two ago, so he already had history of beating Coolhand, and it was a very tight match. I mean, it wasn't like Humphries was completely overwhelmed. It was nip and tuck pretty much all the way, lots of breaks of throw, but Van Veen got it over the line in the end, winning by 10 legs to 8. And that wasn't the only shot last night, because Nathan Aspinall, who won it 2 years ago at the World Match Play, he went out to a guy making his debut, another man from the Netherlands, young Wessel Nijman, who beat him to knock him out. So it was a really dramatic way to get things going here at the Winter Gardens, chaps.
I absolutely am envious of you, Ian, because I just imagine, I've never been to the darts and I've always wanted to go, is the atmosphere as good as it looks?
It's Chris Mason, who works with us, one of our commentators, former PDC professional, he says this is the place. This is the purest form of darts. He says you get a very knowledgeable crowd here at the Winter Gardens. There's only capacity, I would say, for about maybe 2,500 in here for every session, whereas for Ali Pali it's more like 3,500, and of course for some of the Premier League venues you can get up to 12,000 people in to watch those Thursday night Premier League titles. Yeah, it's amazing. Darts has just never been bigger, but it's a really knowledgeable crowd that comes here, generally speaking, to watch the match play here in Blackpool, and they're almost always rewarded with some really, really good stuff. And those two games last night that I mentioned, Aspinall Nijman and Humphries against Van Veen, were well worth the price of admission.
Oh, brilliant. Listen, Ian, thank you very much indeed. Great job. We'll be crossing over to Blackpool for regular updates with Dance and the team throughout the afternoon and evening. And also, there's live commentary on talkSPORT Darts channel, the YouTube channel, so say if you want to go over there as well. You a big fan of darts?
I was a big fan.
You play darts?
Yeah, to be fair, I got dartboards at home. To be fair, my kids are better than me. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Not a major, trust me, not a major.
What about golf? Do you like golf?
No.
Why not?
No, it was something that I couldn't get my head around. We had like golf days at football. I love the carts though. Don't get the game twisted. I love driving the car. Oh, I would just go just to be riveted like I was in Mario Kart.
Akinfenwa, you just get that cart over there. That's for you.
I'll get your balls your way, mate. Pause, to be fair. Just pause that. But yeah, so to be fair, darts. But like you said, and the energy, like my kids watch darts, you know, and the Mrs. family loves darts. The energy, it looks like when you go there, you can't help just get caught up in all.
For me, Humphries has just brought darts back. He's like the, you know, like you put when you have a heart attack, you stand back. Man. He's just brilliant. He's brought darts.
It's good. It's
back
character, and that's what it is. You should. You want character. You want to be entertained, you know. So he's just come and he's been like a wrecking ball in regards where he's just coming and he's unapologetically himself, and that's what it's all about, man.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. Listen, for me, I'm a massive fan of darts. I do like it, and I do play it, and I watch it. My dad used to be a massive big fan of darts. I loved it.
So if me and you like the game, you think you'd be able to beat me?
Mate, I'd beat you with a blindfold on.
But don't be setting these. I'm competitive, you know.
Give me a blindfold.
What? Get me a darts board.
Get me a darts.
All right, we're setting this, Mike. Okay.
Listen, I've just been given a piece of paper. I'm not quite sure what I've got to do, but listen, we'll have a little break and then we'll come back and we'll let's get this on.
All right, say no more.
Listen, what I was going to say is some very sad news reached us as talkSPORT this morning, as legendary voice of Bob Butker passed away at 83. So a big tribute to that gentleman there we were talking about. Yeah. He was the voice of golf, wasn't he?
Yeah, and to me, when you hear his voice, you know there's some things that are just so synonymous, and you know Bob's and his voice and golf, it just goes. So yeah, man, sad day, and you know, R.I.P. rest well.
Yeah, it's always sad when a legend of the sport passes away. It does affect it. For me, I remember listening to him, and he's just got that excellent voice.
Yeah, and you can see, I always say it's about how you impact other people, and you can just see the way people chat about him, and the tribute. You know, it's just, yeah, man, it is always sad. It is always sad. It really is.
Listen, little gossip here: banning rebounds from penalties and VAR checks from the second yellow cards are just some of the rule changes being weighed up ahead of next year's World Cup. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I don't understand why there's so many changes. I really don't get it. I understand tweaks, but it's just, I don't know. And I know, I think some element they're like trying to make it supposedly more entertaining. Look, man, and I know sometimes it's unfair where, you know, a striker could take a penalty, good save, and then puts it in. But for me, it's look, I'm strikers union. I'm all about goals.
Did you get many goals from rebounds?
No, I just scored. I was just a goal scorer, me.
Oh,
you know.
mate. Can we get another door bigger for his head?
The worst thing is people will listen and be like, "What are you talking about, B? We see you miss hella penalties."
I think if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I'm with you on there. I think they're trying to do too much. I think tweaks, you know, but you want to see more goals anyway. So and it is what it is. You take a penalty and it rebounds. You want it. Yeah. I don't understand why you're trying to make less goals.
Well, listen, Breakfast Titans, Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders had their say on the potential changes, and it's fair to say they are not having it.
Who are these people then now? Shouldn't they have, you know, I know Arsene Wenger's involved in some of it.
iFab are they called, something like that?
But have they ever played football?
No, iTube, I think they're called iTubes.
Have they played football? Or have they like been involved in football?
Probably not.
Like Arsene Wenger, for me, would be ideal for sitting down with people and saying, if you do that rule, you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
If you do this rule, it might help. But you've got to have a few experts there who actually can see what the issue's going to be if you change the rules.
No, do you know, I get dismayed, honestly.
There you go, they're not happy. You're listening to The Warm Up Show with me, Mike McClean, and Adebayo Akinfenwa.
Knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Yes, you're listening to the warm-up show on talkSPORT with myself, Mike McClean, and Adebayo, Akinfenwa until 2. Still to come over the next hour, we'll be chatting all about the latest and transfers that are currently in the works with some of the top players on their way from Europe to the Premier League. We'll also be chatting to actor and Chelsea fan Michael Greco and find out what it's like being the world champions this week. Plus, keep your eye updated on the action of the final day of the Open Championship. This is the warm-up show, but right now, to chat everything about football, we've got Lars Silverstone. Hi, Lars. How are you?
Hello. How's it going, everyone?
Good. What gossip have you got for us?
Well, there's a lot going on, isn't there? I am actually quite fascinated with this Rashford to Barcelona stuff because obviously that has been spoken about quite a lot this summer. And I'd be honest, I thought that seemed a little bit pie in the sky from the Rashford side of things.
Couldn't agree more.
Like it moves him. But the thing I want to say about Rashford, I'm interested in your take on this. I've been thinking a lot about what has been going on with him in the last couple of years, because it is very rare to see a player who's kind of should be at the peak of his powers physically decline in the way he has in the last couple of years. And I always suspect that there's been something going on with him that we don't know about. And I think this is the challenge of trying to look at this stuff from the outside. When players, and I'd be keen to hear Adebayo's view on this, with footballers, when they're not performing to their potential, when they're not performing to the ability that we know they have for a prolonged period of time, when there isn't an obvious physical thing, I tend to think there must be something going on in their lives that just isn't quite right. And if that has been the case, like we don't know with Rashford, I feel like there's a piece missing in this puzzle that we don't know about. But a complete change of scenery, a change of country, to a new league, to a new surrounding, I think could be very good for him.
You know what? I totally agree. I think he should go to if he can, of course. I think a change of scenery is needed. I think sometimes what happens, and especially I think in this modern day of modern day society, I think sometimes we can't take in or kind of comprehend how big him playing for United is. I think the culture of being at United, and you've heard throughout the years, those players that make it is of a foundation of a culture where you can build upon, where you can be vulnerable behind closed doors. And I think because the decline in Man United, and you got to understand, in my opinion, outside looking in, and I didn't get anywhere near the levels of where he's playing. I'm talking about with the spotlight on them, but he's had 5 or 6 different managers, and this is United, you know, and we laughed and saying my son's 10 and he's never seen United be good, you know. So the level of him, you know, the decline is the fact where it falls on his shoulders. And with modern day society, you see it all. I don't care what anybody says, you see it all, you feel it all. So there's an element, I think, that comes into play. And of course, outside looking in, we can say there's certain, you know, actions that he hasn't helped himself, you know, in regards. But again, you're living your life in front of everybody, which is not easy, if you know what I mean. But I totally agree. I think, you know what, him picking up himself and going out of this bubble, because don't get it twisted, he's going to go to Barcelona and Spain, and that's a whole different bubble in itself, but it will be a kind of new bubble that he has to kind of deal with less of the perception that's already been built around his name, if you know what I mean. So when you say what you're saying, listen, I agree. You look at it and you're thinking, you know, he's got every attribute, he's got all the characteristics where, you know, he should be able to put United on his back and, you know, fire them to glory, which at times you've seen, and sometimes you're like, well, if he was just consistently to do that, he would be a world beater. I just think that sometimes we do get tunnel vision and looking at the player and being. And it's the other elements that come into play that we just sometimes don't really see.
Do you not think, though, him going to Barcelona and not another Premier League club is even more pressure? He's got the language, he's got the... That's a big thing going over there.
Sorry, yeah, because I didn't want to take you off you notes in regards to... Go on, you'll answer that.
No, but I was one who wanted you into the conversation. So what I would say about this is that I want to hone into something you just said, Adebayo. No one will expect him to go to Barcelona and put the team on his back the way people were expecting him to do at United, which is to do with his talent and also to do with the contract he's on at United. More will have been expected than what he's done in the last 2 years. And it's super easy to be negative and almost ridicule this move because what he has produced in the last 2 years should not put him on Barcelona's radar. But we also know what he did before that, and we know that there is a player in there. He is joining a team where, I mean, his best player is coming in his best position is coming in off the left, so he can cut in onto his right foot, right? The player is there is Rafinha, who scored 18 in the league last season and 13 in the Champions League and was basically their player of the year. So he's going to come into a position where he's on the attack. He's on the front foot. He's going to come into a place where not a lot of people expect a lot of him. There'll be some skepticism, but at least it's not like he's trying to defend a position there. He's going to come in and everything he can do will be a positive. He's going to have a completely clean slate. He's going to have a completely new surrounding. And I'm really hoping he can find something here. The only thing I would say on the pitch, he needs to work hard off the ball. That is a big thing. Like under Hansi Flick, Barcelona, you guys have seen this in the Champions League. They keep an incredibly high line, almost ridiculously high at times. And the front three really need to work for that. You can't have a guy in the front three who's not closing down because then that whole system completely falls apart. So he's going to have to work harder off the ball than he has done for quite a while to get into this team.
Yeah, that's good.
But you can imagine it. You can imagine Lamine Yamal putting crosses in from the right hand side and Rashford arriving at the back stick. Like he's got the physicality for that. There are ways this could work. So I do think if it comes off, this could be this is a clean slate for him and a possibility for him to sort of start rebuilding his career a little bit.
Well, let's chat about Ekitike going to Liverpool. What's happening there?
I think it was kind of quite well summed up at the top of the hour here on the news stories. Is that he is young, he is unfinished, but he is a guy who's very good physically, who has no injury record to speak of, who is someone who Arne Slot can mold, can work with. He's definitely, I mean, the tendency is to say that he's better in transition, but that is because Frankfurt play in transition a lot. So, I mean, they don't, Frankfurt don't have that many games a year when they have to break down teams that sit back against them. But that will be a new experience for him because, of course, in the Premier League, a lot of teams see Liverpool coming and they sit back and they don't give them space. So helping to finagle his way through a low block is going to be something he's going to have to work on. But early signs are that Arne Slot is a pretty good coach, and you're getting a young, hungry, athletic, available striker who you can do a lot with, I think.
What about Arsenal and United? Who are they after?
Well, the big Arsenal story is that it does look like Victor Gyökeres, the Swedish forward from Sporting, like that deal is going to happen now after this having been quite a long-running saga, which I think is an interesting one because it is a bit of a gamble. I mean, he's 27 and he's only really done it in the Portuguese league. And while the top three in Portugal are very strong teams, Porto, Sporting and Benfica, there's quite a few teams in that league who are not very strong, who I think quite a lot of strikers could score a lot of goals against. So it will be a step up for him. I wouldn't expect him to replicate this incredible scoring record he's had in Portugal in the Premier League. That's a big ask. But even if he doesn't, what you do get with him, he's physically very capable. Like he runs a lot and he's got a lot of power to him and he puts himself about. So even if he's not going to average like better than a goal a game, which he has done in Portugal, he's been incredible there. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would maybe not be expecting that. But even if he doesn't quite score that many goals, you will get a guy who works really hard, who puts himself about. And I think that will really improve Arsenal's attack overall. If you have a centre forward who does the centre forward stuff, who keeps defenders busy, who makes runs, who creates space, I think you'll see more goals from Saka. I think you'll see better stuff from like Madueke coming in. I think he can do stuff. Having a striker who puts himself about and moves and is a physical handful, that improves the entire team, I like to think. And if you can get anywhere near the goal-scoring record he has in Portugal, obviously that will be a huge as well. We've been saying for years that Arsenal need a number 9. I mean, he is certainly that.
What about United? Brian, is it pronounced Mbeumo?
Mbeumo. It is Brian Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo is Yeah, and it's an interesting one for United because Brian Mbeumo, he does a bit of everything. Mbeumo, and the thing that gives me pause is that he's played right wing at Brentford, and that position doesn't really exist in Ruben Amorim's system. You know, they don't play like with a typical winger; they play with wing backs. But you can also definitely see him fitting into that position slightly behind the centre forward in Amorim's system. That's something he has the skill set to do. Thomas Frank did occasionally play him as like a very, very attacking wing back at Brentford when they were chasing games. And you get a guy who is Premier League proven, like he's done well in the Premier League over several years. He works really hard as well. Like he doesn't shirk any of his defensive duties. He can carry the ball. He scored 20 goals last season. I mean, 5 of them I think were from the penalty spot, but still. So he's the guy who can finish. He can provide assists. He can pass, and he's a hard worker. So I think that's a really good thing to have in your squad. And we will see.
Is it right with a 5-year contract with a 1-year option?
Something like that. No, I wouldn't really worry about the. I mean, he's not old. Like he's got years ahead of him, so I wouldn't be having any concerns about the contract length. And I think he's got a pretty big name and all this sort of stuff. So if you want to move him on, you'll be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think after the trouble they're having this summer, finding a new place for Rashford, finding a place to move on Jadon Sancho, for instance, I would suspect that the new leadership at United are a little bit more stingy with the personal terms when they hand out contracts, because they've kind of learned the hard way that big contracts are hard to move on.
Yeah.
But what you're getting is a player who's offering you. Like, if you compare it to Matheus Cunha, who they've signed, who's a bit of a wild card, but who can do incredible things, I think Mbeumo is a much more steady guy who works really hard, can do a bit of everything, and is maybe not 8, 9 out of 10 at a lot of stuff, but who just offers you a lot of good things going forward. I'm intrigued to see where he fits into the formation, because that right wing spot doesn't really exist, but he has shown some versatility in the past. Amorim is a clever guy. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
What about Longstaff from Newcastle to Leeds?
Well, that just seems kind of sensible, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, because Sean Longstaff is just a solid professional performer for Newcastle over many years. But the thing for Sean Longstaff at Newcastle, that midfield three that he's got ahead of him with Tonali, with Bruno Guimaraes, and with Joelinton. I mean, that's possibly one of the best midfield threes in the league, really. There aren't too many central midfields that are stronger than those three. Like, there are a couple you'd have ahead. Yeah. I mean, that's just rock solid. So if you're Sean Longstaff, you're 27 now, like this should be the peak of your career, and you're looking at those 3 guys ahead of you. You're just not going to start many games at Newcastle. Even if you love the place, you love the club. He had 8 starts in the league last season, came on as a sub 17 times. So clearly that was his role in that squad, as the guy who comes in to bring some extra legs in midfield. And you know, he's a Newcastle guy. I'm sure he would want to play there, but at 27, surely he'd want to be somewhere where he's a regular starter. And going into Leeds, newly promoted, he's going to be a big, important player for their midfield. Makes total sense to me.
Lars, nice and quickly before you go, Kyle Walker-Peters, West Ham.
Well, that's another sort of sensible signing for. I mean, West Ham under Potter have been playing with wing backs. We know Kyle Walker-Peters can cover a lot of space on that right hand side. They have Wan-Bissaka already, but Walker-Peters have played on the left a fair bit as well. You know, good, full of running, versatile guy. I think he's a sensible squad addition.
Lars, thank you very much indeed. Sterling job as always. You're listening to The Walrus Show with myself, Mike McClean, and Adebayo Akinfenwa. is the warm-up show. Myself, Mike McClean, and Adebayo Akinfenwa. It's now time to get the latest on the Open with Sean O'Brien.
Yes, Bryson DeChambeau has made an appearance on the first page of the leaderboard. He actually shot 6 over in the first round. Everyone thought that was more evidence that he can't play links golf and he was going to miss the cut. But he's been the second best player in the field since Friday morning. He'd actually be right up there with Scottie Scheffler without that disastrous first round. He's 3 under through 7 holes here, 5 under for the championship, and that puts him in a tie for 15th. Lee Westwood, someone the TalkSport listeners will know very well. He's out there too. Nobody expected anything from him this week, but there he is on 5 under. He shot 29 on the back 9 yesterday, and that was the joint lowest back 9 in Open history. So great to see him rolling back the years. And Justin Rose is out there as well. He just got his 4th round underway on 5 under. So Scottie Scheffler leads. He's at the top on 14 under, 4 shots clear of Hao Tong Lee. They tee off at 2:30 p.m. and it's live on TalkSport 2.
The Open Update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Build your own car deal, all with a few clicks.
I love golf. I do. I absolutely love it. I'm absolutely massive fan. Talking of people that like golf, I play golf a lot with a bandit called Michael Greco. Do you remember Greco from EastEnders? Yeah. He was on the line now. Morning, Grex.
Morning, how's that swing? This is a man who's got a swing like a hangman's noose. I am telling you, he's got clubs that Arnold Palmer would have had when he was a child. He hasn't changed them.
He always moans. Listen, Grex, let's talk Chelsea. Congratulations, by the way, world champions. I know you're very happy. We're texting each other. Listen, there's a lot of people that's saying that the Club World Cup's not getting the respect that he should have got.
Listen, I thought about this a lot when we won it. Now, other than Liverpool and Barcelona, the best teams in the world were in this competition. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be in a competition, you're going to win it, right? You're going to go and win it. And it's a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And it's just bragging rights. Listen, we all know if you're supporting Liverpool, you won the league, you've got bragging rights for a year. If you're supporting Argentina, you won the World Cup, you've got bragging rights for 4 years. We've got bragging rights for 4 years now. Are you telling me when Uruguay won the first ever World Cup, that people are just going to dismiss it? There were only 13 countries that played in the very first World Cup. Uruguay beat Argentina 4-2 in the final. Now that is going to, that's going to stand them instead for the rest of the time. So we've won the first ever Club World Cup. And that's, it's a fantastic achievement. And I think it was Adebayo who said that Chelsea's team they just couldn't live with them. Caicedo in midfield in particular was just like a bull. He just didn't stop running. And I think Chelsea are, they're really coming to the fore. I don't believe we're going to win the league. I think we will give teams a lot of trouble, and I think we'll probably be top 3. But Chelsea are building something special.
So to be fair, I'm with you. Look, all jokes aside, I was with Kundi before the final, innit? And I actually didn't even give you... No, I actually wanted you to win. Even though I'm a Liverpool supporter, because I didn't want Paris Saint-Germain to beat every team they kind of come up against. So partly I wanted y'all to win. But you're right. I think it doesn't matter what you go into, you want to win it. And Chelsea went into the tournament to win it. I think for me, outside looking in, it was an opportunity just to bed in Chelsea's players and style and at the end of the day, win a lot of money, in regards to that. So if people give them props or don't give them props, I don't want to take this back to Liverpool. People are saying Liverpool won the league, but the league wasn't strong. We really don't care. We won the league and we'll take it. So I think it's the same with Chelsea. Again, not, if you wanted to try and, flex on Liverpool, I could flex back with you, you know what I'm saying? But
keep the flexing to a minimum.
No, I'm just trying to reign.
He's got bigger muscles.
No, all jokes aside, I think, look, congratulations to Chelsea. I think you look at them and say, if Liverpool could win the league and they didn't have no expectations to go and win the league and they won it, I don't see why Chelsea won't be up there next season. They are building.
Let me ask you this question. You're a big Liverpool fan. Listen, Liverpool are a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
And for someone to beat them this season with Florian Wirtz and all their signings, it's, I am a betting man, and if I had £1 million spare, I'd put £1 million on Liverpool. But let me ask you this question. If Liverpool were invited to go to the Club World Cup in 4 years' time, firstly, would you think they would say no? And secondly, if they were in it, surely you'd want them to win it, right?
Yeah, 100%. This is, and I'll always say, as fans, if you don't win it, you're always going to say, well, we didn't really care about it anyway. So, and that's how I see it. So, if Liverpool go into any tournament, I want them to win it. So, even when Liverpool play their teams and it's the League Cup or the FA, I want Liverpool to win everything they go into. Plus, the money they get, it allows them to go and invest back into the squad. So on all
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. The only thing is where you start looking is, I look at it where it is a lot of football. You look at the players and they've got no time to rest, and eventually it will kind of
catch up with them. Yeah.
That's my only. I mean, don't get it twisted. I hope it catches up with Chelsea very early because Liverpool wasn't in it. But if you ask me that question, that's the downside I think may have a play. But again, you build squads to be able to rotate. But again, look, I'm not, all jokes aside, whatever Liverpool go into, I want them to win. And Chelsea beat, regardless of how anybody wants to put it, currently the best team in the world. They beat them, and they beat them comfortably. So just taking the confidence out of that will take them in good stead.
Correct. We've chatted before about Cole Palmer, and I've got to say, I genuinely am gutted that he'd left City, because I think if he'd just waited for another couple of years with De Bruyne going, but you've got one hell of a player there.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. People say world class too easily, don't they, these days about certain players. I truly believe I think we've got 2 or 3 world-class players. I think Caicedo and Cole Palmer are world-class. You could even put Marc Cucurella, who, I tell you what, when he first came to Chelsea...
We chatted about that.
He looked like he just won the spot-the-ball competition to be in the Chelsea team, because he was useless. And then going back, you realise that he had a lot of... personal issues going on off the pitch, but he has been an absolute revelation.
Since the Euros, Grex, since the Euros, Cucurella just shines.
Brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. He winds players up so much, and he gets to them. You can see them, and a couple of times people he's had his hair pulled and they've been sent off, haven't they? He is a phenomenal player. Fernandes and Caicedo and Lavia are incredible 3 players who are starting to work towards the amount of money that they were bought for. And I think Chelsea, give it another couple of years with what they are building, you could see the new sort of Man City or the new Liverpool in a way. But I still think you've got to go. I don't believe Man City will win the league this year. I just don't think they can embed those players in so quickly. I think we're all trying to beat Liverpool.
We chatted about that before, didn't we?
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So, as a Chelsea supporter, what would you be happy with this season? If you don't think you can win the league, at the end of the season, what would you be happy with?
I tell you, I genuinely believe this. I think because we're such a great cup team, I think we're going to win the Champions League this year.
Oh.
Because we've got no one to fear.
Okay.
We've got no one to fear. I think the only team we'd have to fear is Liverpool, because our record against Liverpool isn't great. But, we've beaten PSG, who are playing the best football in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Chelsea have more chance of winning the Champions League. And it essentially, it's a little bit easier, isn't it? Because it's not over 38 games, depending on the draw. Liverpool had the worst draw. They didn't lose the game in the qualifying, and they had to play PSG the next round. That's awful. That shouldn't happen. And Chelsea were lucky in the Club World Cup because they didn't really come up against a great side until they played PSG. But Chelsea are great when they're the underdogs. When you write them off at your peril, because that's when the players get together and go, you know what, we're going to show everybody, and they did. Every player went. Right, PSG, everybody's writing us all off. We're going to win this. And they won it. I was very, very pleased.
Oh, I'm very happy for him. Very happy for Michael.
Fair play. Not me, but fair play.
Very happy for Grex, because he's a good mate of mine. And also my missus, because she's a massive Chelsea fan. So you can imagine
Can I just tell you this one quick story that I just had last year?
Of course you can.
I was having a rant with this guy on Facebook who's a Spurs fan.
That's not like you, Grex.
No, not like us at all. And before Spurs won the Europa League, obviously, he was going on about, Chelsea bought this, bought that. And I was like, blah, 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 whatever. And I was winding him up going, well, you've got an empty trophy cabinet. You've got the best stadium in the world. You should be pleased. You should be pleased. And he went, you don't know who I am, do you? I went, actually, no, I don't even know who I'm talking to. He went, I was the writer of your last play in the West End. I won't be writing you in another play.
Exactly.
Okay, see you later.
Cheers, Greg. Thank you very much indeed, Michael Greco there. Massive Chelsea fan, and congratulations to them. Right, let's cross over to the Winter Gardens in Blackpool, day 2 of the World Match Play Darts, and it's Damien Hurty and Andrew Gilding at the OK. More with Ian Dancer. Ian, what's happening?
We are underway for this first round tie. First to 10 legs goes through to round 2, and it's going with throw so far. Damon Heta from Australia, the number 7 seed, up against Andrew Gilding from Bungay, who reached the quarterfinals last year. 1 leg apiece at the moment. Gilding actually has a chance to break at the moment with a finish of 109. He's down to a finish of tops to try and break throw, but he's not done that. Damon Heta has the chance to go 2-1 up. We'll have 2 former match-play champions on the Oki during the course of this afternoon session. In 2019 winner Rob Cross, and the 2021 champion Peter Wright. Luke Littler is in action this evening against Ryan Searle, the world champion. Heta's just gone 2-1 up, and you can follow all the action live with our free live watch-alongs on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel this afternoon. talkSPORT 2 joins in the fun tonight with the evening session that starts at 7 p.m.
Ian Dante there, doing a sterling job as always. Up next, boxing.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earned 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
listening to the warm-up show with me, Mike McClean, and they're very talented, they're very charming, do you want me to read all this?
All of it, all of it.
They're very reasonable. By Akinfenwa. I'm just joking. We're chatting boxing, and let's chat now to Declan Taylor. Good morning, Declan.
Morning, chaps. How are you?
Morning, good. Let's talk about last night's fight. I got to be honest. I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
He's not serious,
It wasn't
Deck.
even that late.
When he said that to me, he's not serious, Deck. He's not serious.
I had to take my son to football. I had to pick my missus up from the train station. I had to get back. I had to walk the dog. Let's just not get into that. Let's just talk boxing. Leave me alone.
To be fair, it didn't last that long, to be fair, though. I mean, also, it didn't last that long. Talk to us then, man. How good was Usyk?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was his best performance at heavyweight. Even if you consider, obviously, boxed Tyson Fury twice and beat him twice. Neither of those victories were as devastating or as clinical as that one. Obviously, he stopped Dubois 2 years ago in the first fight, where he had that controversy in the 5th round. So it was kind of fitting that he finished this one in the 5th, and it was it felt like he'd worked him out in that first fight, so he could just pick up where he left off. It was a fast start, unusually fast from Usyk, actually, probably because he'd already boxed him once, and you could see. I think it was I remember looking up at the screen, and it was 11 seconds in where he landed the first jab, just straight through the guard, that southpaw jab. And it was just ping right on the button. And it was okay, right, this guy, he's 38, but anyone who was thinking that he had faded were wrong, basically. And then it just unfolded from there. I thought it was a scintillating performance, really.
He looked like he enjoyed it. I mean, and the same, I remember the first jab. And then even to when Dubois tried to back him up and to the net, to the ropes, and the way he just slipped and just stepped out of it, and he did that twice, and he just looked like he was enjoying, he was relaxed. It was just, I'm with you. I thought he was devastating. I thought he was in his, bad to say, I just thought he was levels above Dubois yesterday.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then we always hear that boxing's about levels, and then we were told, in fact, it's not even being told, it's true. We watched it unfold that Daniel Dubois has grown since that first fight. Yeah, registered the biggest 3 wins since against Jarrell Miller, Hrgovic, Joshua. Every one of those fights better than the last in terms of opponents, and he stopped them all. But in the interim, we forget that Usyk went and beat Tyson Fury twice and became undisputed champion. It's not like he was sitting around. So Dubois may have got better, but I feel like Usyk's getting better. And you're right there that Bayo, with the bit where, I think it was in the first round, actually, he's up against the ropes in the corner. It takes a couple, the crowd sort of get excited. But then what he did, which I thought was very important, is that he stepped to Dubois. It was the whole point is Dubois was trying to sort of steamroll him, just use his size of fight. And Usyk just didn't have it. He wasn't backing up the whole night. His counter punching was unbelievable. Obviously, the knockout itself is is a counter where he slipped outside the right hand and come back with a left hook from that southpaw position. It was just it was an absolute masterclass, I think. And 38. He's only getting better. It's mad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying. I mean, I went on afterwards and I said he's the truth. I think he is the best heavyweight of our modern era. And when you look at it, for me, I was like, oh, you know what? If the Wab goes in first 4 rounds, uses his size, tries to intimidate him, maybe. But then if the longer it goes, Usyk's going to take control. But even that, exactly that, he tried to take him to the ropes, and Usyk just stepped forward, stepped out, and then so it's real ominous, going forward. So what is next for me? What's next for Usyk?
Well, they asked him in the ring. He's always been really good at sidestepping that question. I think he has crazy training camps. I remember speaking to Malik Scott about it when he's a trainer now, but when he was still boxing, Usyk used him a lot for sparring, and he told us about the training camps that Usyk was doing, particularly in those days. He's in Valencia now for his training camps, but in those days it was more. It was not in Russia, but far closer to Ukraine, and he said it was just this crazy setup where you go in and it was the maddest training camp he'd ever seen. So I think Usyk puts himself through a training camp so hard that by the time he's finished the fight, the last thing he wants to do is think about next opponents. He never calls anyone out at that moment. In the ring after, he listed off Fury, Joshua, Chisora, Parker, didn't say he wanted to fight any of them. And then in the press conference afterwards, when we sat him down again and asked him what's next, because we hear that it could be his last fight, he's spoken that Last night was penultimate fight, and he's got one more left. So if it is, it needs to be a big one. For me, I don't know. The Fury trilogy fight seems to be on the table. I'm not sure we need to see that. Chisora is obviously mandatory with the IBF. The next in line, mandatory wise, is the WBO, which is Joseph Parker. Parker, the only real sort of big heavyweight of the era outside of Deontay Wilder that Usyk hasn't boxed yet. So that would make sense. It's a really hard fight for Joseph Parker, that one. Turki Al-Sheikh's even said that Italma is ready for Usyk already, which I'm not sure I agree with, but there's another option for him. So who knows? Who knows what might be next? He's talking about fighting in Kiev, which obviously is complicated at the moment,
Just
to say the least. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what happens. The idea that we only see him one more time after last night is would surprise me, but he does what he wants.
He's doing the Ukraine proud, though, isn't he?
It's incredible. Yeah, and do you know what? I remember when he boxed Joshua the first time at Tottenham when he won the world title. After that fight in the presser, again, people saying, who are you boxing next? He just said, all I want to do is plant a tree, right? And that was, obviously, he was talking in very peaceful terms. And it was after that, it was in between the two Joshua fights when the real invasion ramped up. And his house, of course, ransacked amongst all of the other ones that were and still are. And I remember we interviewed him before that Joshua rematch, and it was just like this guy had come off the front line, literally on the front line, fighting, and he's come away from that war zone to box again. And Derek Chisora said it right. He's like, how can you possibly beat a man like that in a boxing match? And that's the context of his life and his career. We're talking about one of the most historically, in terms of context, important sporting figures, let alone boxing figures. Muhammad Ali was important in his era, of course, and no one ever forgets that. But in this era, the achievements that Usyk has managed against the backdrop of the war in the Ukraine. He's the undisputed world heavyweight champion. He's from Ukraine while they're in this active conflict with Russia. Is crazy. It's really we've never seen like before. You know, I hate to say it, but you couldn't write it. You know, it's proper film stuff. And it continues.
This will be a film soon. Listen, Declan, just talking about Dubois, this is him speaking post-match to DAZN.
I have to commend him on the performance. I gave everything I had. It just wasn't probably a few things I could have sharpened up on, but I'm taking no credit away from the man. I'll be back.
No doubt you will be back. We've seen it before. The jab was key last time round. You didn't throw or land enough jabs. Did you think maybe you would have landed more jabs and more to the body like your team were telling you to do?
I was just fighting, man. I was in a fight and I was just trying to pick out round by round, but it is what it is. I'll be back.
Don, I want to quickly bring you in, Don. You've masterminded the last 18 months. Come in, Don. I know you don't really like to be on camera and say things, but it was a brave performance. But ultimately, he's in there against an all-time great, Don.
Most definitely. That was never in doubt. We tried to get going. He's a young champion, Daniel Dubois, 27 years old. Remarkable what he's achieved to date. He'll be back from this stronger. That's a great champion, generational great. There's not, if you're going to lose to someone like that. You understand? He'll be back from this. Yeah. Thank the audience.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I gave my best. We go back to the drawing board and come again.
Frank, let's quickly bring you in. Frank, you've had Daniel.
There he goes. He said, Declan, he said he's going to be back. Will he be back?
He's 27? This is a guy, let's not forget that 2020, so less than 5 years ago, he got stopped by Joe Joyce. Everyone said he was a quitter. Everyone said he was finished then. And he was a kid then. And look how he rebuilt from that. He came again. He then lost to Usyk again. And look how he rebuilt. He is so mentally strong, Daniel Dubois. And regardless of what people say about he quit against Joe Joyce, even they quit in the first fight against Usyk, in terms of he does not care what people say or think about him whatsoever. There's only one thing he knows as well, and that's fighting. It's one thing his dad knows, one thing the family knows. There is no way that we don't see him back. The unfortunate thing for Dubois, as a 27-year-old man, is that he had to come up against Alexander Usyk, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. In fact, one of the greatest fighters of all time, in any weight class, and he just had to happen to come against him. He'll be back, man. He's 27. Like, he's got another. He could do. Look at Usyk. He's 11 years older. Daniel Dubois could have a decade more in this game and be even better. The only thing he has to do is he make sure he learned from that last night and make sure he learned from what happened against Usyk.
Yeah, and to be fair, he said it, in regards to, listen, if you're going to lose to the best, and that's what it is. I'm with you on that. I watched him against AJ, and he went in there, and to be fair, he was similar, but he really, it looked like he believed against AJ.
Yeah.
Partly I just think there was this element where, and maybe it's just his actually mannerisms, his characteristic, which you actually don't know kind of what Dubois you're gonna kind of get, but he came up against Usyk, and yeah, man, Usyk's just special. But I'm with you, he's 27. Like, in regards 27. To heavyweight, he's a pup. And I say it, you learn so much more from your losses than you do from your wins, and the way he's bounced back from his losses, yeah, man, I do think we will see Dubois again.
How long a break do you think he'll have, Declan?
I think we'll see him back. Maybe not before the end of the year. Obviously, that was a bad loss. It was a bad knockout. He's never been stopped like that. He was obviously sort of kneeling against Joyce and the Usyk fight. He hasn't been out like that. So maybe he'll have a breather. He's had a big few years. He's had a big 2 years, really. Like, last 18 months or so has been massive for him. So maybe he'll do that. The one fly in the ointment for Dubois is that Moses Atalma is coming, and he's going to be serious. He's only, he's 18, he's a teenager still, maybe he's just 20 now. Unbelievable fighter. So it's going to be the era of Atalma coming. So what he does with that, Dubois, is he going to be able to topple him at one point? Is that a fight down the line that we see? I don't know, but Dubois, I think, will have a bit of a breather. He'll come again. The good news is Usyk won't be around forever. And there's so many big fights out there. Even just in the Queensbury stable, there are loads of heavyweight fights for him.
What about Lawrence Okoli?
Yeah, I think he tore his bicep last night in the first round, I heard. So that was his acid test at heavyweight. Even though Kevin Lorraine is only small, a former cruiserweight and bridgerweight like him, he won every round on 2 of the judges' scorecards. It wasn't a performance, I wrote in my report, it wasn't a performance that will sort of strike fear into the division. It's not a highlight reel job, that one from last night, but it was a good win. Lorena didn't get near him. What we know about Lawrence Okoli is his dimensions as a heavyweight. He's 260 pound now, 60 pound heavier than he was as a world champion at cruiserweight. He'll always be a handful for everyone, and he knows how to negate your attacks, basically. He's a handful for anyone. He ain't beaten Alexander Usyk, for instance, but it might be that he doesn't have to. He's a young heavyweight as well, 2 fights in that division, so he'll be around. I'm not sure if he really has I'm not sure if he has that extra gear in him to get past someone like Moses Atalma once he's really firing at the top.
I tell you what, for Yusuf next, it'll be Jake Paul. That'll be his next fight.
I think it'll be Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua.
It looks like that's building up some momentum.
Yeah.
That
could well happen.
I'm trying to get the big man to fight him, but he's not having it.
To fight Joshua or Jake Paul?
You better take AJ out that equation for AJ to put me to sleep. I'm cool, brother.
Declan, thank you very much indeed, my friend.
Cheers, gents. Take care.
We're chatting non-league next.
10k for Coldplay.
Our competition continues today with 6 VIP seats in the box at Wembley for Coldplay on August the 2nd, plus £10,000. That is some cash there, isn't it?
Jeez, yeah.
Okay, listen, Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd, a few days after my birthday, with full hospitality. Plus, we're chucking in 10 grand, spending money completely tax-free. And here's how to enter. You've got to be 18. You've got to be over the age of 18, UK excluding Northern Ireland, for a chance to win. Text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m, and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. It's a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com. Right now, we're talking non-league, because the fixtures came out on Thursday, and Malden and Tiptree, who are managed by a really good friend of mine, Kevin Orlock, they've been in the news, and they've been bought over by 2 new owners. They've changed everything, and we're lucky now to have the owners on the line. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. I'm actually here with Kevin Harlock, our first team manager, and Mitch Cowlin.
Mitch Cowlin, he's always got that hat on, hasn't he? Always got that hat on. Kevin, that's the brightest I've ever seen Kevin Harlock, to be honest with you.
All my plates.
Yeah, you're looking well.
Yeah,
You're looking well.
I've played half a game in Elliot Justin's testimonial, mate. I'm struggling.
How'd you get on? How'd you get on? How'd you get on?
2-2.
2-2.
Playing at Dagenham 11, so... Yeah, I'll tell you what, football don't get easy, mate, as you get older.
But Barry, I want to touch you. What made you buy a football club?
It was my partner, actually, and my son. Both of them were really interested, and so Malden and Tiptree was kind of... Well, it's our local club for a start. We only live in Tiptree, the next village, and so when I heard there was a possibility, I made contact with the previous owner, and... Luckily enough, they were interested, and here we are.
And you've done a lot to it, because obviously I go there because Kev's been kind enough to let my lad train, and I've seen a massive change in the club. And what are your plans now going forward for the club?
Well, everybody seems to think it's going to be 500 new houses, but no, that's not actually going to happen. We're actually hoping to bring people in, like Kevin, and keeping Mitch around to help us put a good team together to maybe, hopefully, move up the leagues a little bit.
Because you brought in some big name players this year, Kev. How difficult was it to get those players? Mitch?
I'll start. There's been a lot of interest, certainly since Barry and Scott come in with the intentions and the visions and their plans that they've implemented into the club. I think we've been inundated, haven't we, Kev? Where normally at this level you're sort of going out scouting and trying to find the gems, cheap. We've been inundated with the caliber of player that we can attract to fit into our budget. So it's actually probably been a tougher job in that aspect because of the caliber of player that's come forward.
I just want to say that my phone hasn't rang. I just want to throw that out there, I didn't get my phone didn't ring, but I won't hold that against Eddie.
You are on the list.
Okay, cool. Get to me. I'll pick up my phone. All right, so let me ask this question, though. And realistically, and I know it's easy to say, but so what's the short-term game? Aim. Realistically, the mid, and then of course, what if you could say, just if you close your eyes and open, what the end goal would be? What would it be? And that's to everybody.
I think being realistic with this season, not to put too much pressure on us, but I think with the tools that we've been given, it's got to be promotion.
Okay.
I think that's the short-term aim. I think the calibre of the team that we have put together, we're looking to try and keep continuity, really, thinking that we can actually go back to back as well. So I don't want to do too much high talk before, but. We're in a fortunate position with the owners that we're working with.
Kev, how the pressure is that something that gets to you as a manager?
No, not really. I've said it in many an interview. I think that's one thing that I've craved since stopped playing football. You have that pressure of winning games as a player and performing week in, week out. And a lot of non-league clubs, that pressure's not there. They're happy to survive and happy to be in the league they're in. They don't want to get promoted this is very much a different story. Obviously, we've got owners that have invested a lot of, not just money, but time. They're here all the time. They've given us all the tools to be successful. So the pressure is firmly on. I hope I feel it, because if I don't feel it, that means I don't care. But we put a group together that has been there, done it, seen it, experienced. A few young lads sprinkled in between that. So the pressure's on, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
All right, so let me ask though, Kev, yeah, what's your style of management? You know, are you ranter, raver? You pass out pep? You know, are you a clock? What's your style?
Yeah, not really ranter and raver. I think through my career, I've had ranter and ravers, and you tend not to listen to them. The lads know there's a line. I'm quite controlled, but speak to lads in a manner that hopefully I'm going to get the best out of them, and then if it doesn't happen, then I let them know. I think if you rant and rave every game, you probably had managers yourself where they've done that. You tend to only listen for the first 30 seconds and it becomes just a noise. So it'll be constructed, but they know, look, what we've created here is a professional environment. We train properly. We've got all the staff that we need, the facilities. We're geared up to perform. So hopefully the lads can do that and I won't have to rant and rave anyway.
Barry, I've got, because I've been this morning with this gentleman here, I can get him over to you, Scott. I can get him over to you if you want.
Absolutely. Come on, let's give him a shot.
Can we? He's only 43, probably. You know, he's only 43. He's promised me that he'll get to passes if you've got an Uber ready on standby.
But I need a rocket ship. What's going on? Yeah, my knees are gone.
Barry, what has it been like for you, Baz? What has it been like for you, Barry, taking over a football club? And what was the first thing that you wanted to change?
I think trying to get the community more involved was one of the biggest things, one of the biggest challenges, because I think over the years the kind of club numbers had dwindled a little bit, and you know, a good day for us here was like 150 people coming through the gate. Previous last couple of games there've been like 1,600 people coming through the gates.
Gates Colchester.
So, you know, it's massive numbers coming through now, which is great. The local press, you know, the BBC and everybody seem to be interested and trying to follow the story and what have you. We've got a reality show coming out of on the back of it, you know, so there's a lot of stuff going on, which is great. But for me, it's about engaging with the local community. We're starting our BTEC scheme. We've got Liam Bales from Colchester United. He was there for like 16, 17 years. He's come over to take over our academy. So, you know, we've got a lot of stuff going on that will involve the local community. And that was a big thing for us. You know, this is where we live. We want to give back. You know, this is where we made our money. We made our first millions here in Essex, in this village and in this town. So for us, it was about giving back. And so
I love that. I love that. And Barry's actually up the road in Manchester from me. Barry's from Longside. I'm from Levenshulme, so we've got that connection. Listen, I just want to say good luck, because your first game, Kev, is home to Redbridge. Have you got your starting 11 picked?
No, to be fair, we got that many injuries at the minute. I've not got starting 11, but we've got a small matter of the FA Cup before that as well. Bucker's still at home, so we're looking to go on all fronts. Obviously, we want to be successful in the league and get promoted, but we also want to have good cup runs that generates, obviously, interest, bigger crowds, and which will benefit the football club. And I can second, the biggest change for me at the football club is the atmosphere. Honestly,
it's brilliant.
Place. Before it was like, say, the numbers were dwindling, so it's all looking good and rosy. We just got to win games now.
Yeah.
Listen,
that we bring some young talent through as well. You know, we've just had a few different pre-season friendlies, and it's just been great to see some of the under-21s and some of the under-18s getting given a chance to get in there and put some minutes. You know, it's just brilliant. I love it.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll see you Tuesday, but listen, can I bring the big man Tuesday?
Bring him with you, mate. We'll have a look.
All right, I'll check him out, Kev. I'll check him out.
All the best, Jack.
All the best. Listen, all the best for the season, fellas. Take care.
All the best.
Maldon and Tiptree there. Honest to God, a really good club. Really good club. Are you fit for Tuesday?
I'm not going to lie to you. No. You know, because you know, me and you, we got a bond, and I can be honest with you.
I want a bond.
Nah, my brother. It's so much easier talking about football than playing it nowadays.
Do you miss playing?
Nah, I don't.
You don't?
No. I was a lucky one. I retired at the age of 40. You know, I played 21 years in a game, so I count blessings. You know, and
does your body still feel it? Does your body feel it now?
As in, like my knee, eventually I'm going to have a knee replacement. But listen, I still work out. I've got the active mind and active body. But
listen,
yeah.
It's been a pleasure being with you. Up next, it's Ben Fletcher and Perry Groves on talkSPORT.